Good morning, everyone. Mr. Buttons and I are here to go a little bit further on this black and white drawing. And today I'm using Rembrandt as my inspiration because Rembrandt, as you know, worked a lot with light and darkness and also to evoke a mood of figure. And that's kind of what I'm after in this picture here. I want the face, the hand gestures, and the postures to bring out feeling, and I'm not going to be afraid to use really strong light and darkness. And please remember to subscribe to this channel and go to patreon.com/awstudio to get more detailed tutorials. So one of the things that I notice in terms of light and dark is that I have a very strong highlight on this leg from the upper right, and I could go through and highlight all of the sections that are closest to the light, which I intend to do. But before that, I want to work a little bit on the perspective on this knee right here. As you can see, this leg is closer to you, the viewer, so it would make sense that it's larger. And this one here, it's fine that it is a little bit shorter because it's turning more towards us. I'm going to extend this down even farther, maybe to here. And I'm going to actually have the knee part here. And I can sort of bend this leg back, and I'll try to sketch that on. And have this leg going a little bit more in this direction. So let's try smudging that out a little bit and adding in a little bit of darkness. Things are bigger in front and will recede going back. The leg is going back like that. We'll just smooth this in and then add a little highlight here on the knee, especially the top of the knee. It makes it look bigger. And it could be here on the shin too, coming down. And then behind here, since I have this darkness, I'll go ahead and put that in to help us see the leg. That really helps to bring this leg forward and down. With this kind of work, you have to be willing to not be afraid to mess it up. Don't worry about whether or not you think it's going to be achievable, but go with what your intuition is telling you. So let's just see then if we get a little darkness in here, the calf. And I like to use the compressed charcoal to get a little bit darker grays, but also I can come back to the willow charcoal when I want to create a little bit lighter, softer hue of gray. Realistic Rembrandt portraits, creating a sort of feeling that would give the viewer a story. And that's what I'm after in a work like this, why I'm working from my imagination rather than having someone pose for me so that I could really copy the right position. For example, up here with her very large arm and hand, I'm going to reduce it down a little bit so it's a little bit more in proportion, that you get a feeling of what the story is, that she is sitting there with her arm sort of draping out, or perhaps even getting ready to touch something. Let's work with the light. We have a really strong white here on the leg, so let's get a very strong highlight up here on the arm. And to not lose the arm entirely, I will put some dark on the side there. Here too, there could be a really strong highlight to get the twist of the shoulder. And again, next to every highlight will be a darkness. As I got away, I could see that the hand needed a little bit of a reduction and a little bit more refinement. I'm not really going for correct human proportions exactly, but I do want it to make you feel comfortable when you look at it. And if something's really way off, you might be sort of jarred by the picture. So let's go on now with what I called the light that we can imagine is coming from the upper right. And you can see I even have like this, which is going to highlight all the front parts of the figure, here in the arms and here along the neck. Her face is already quite highlighted, so I don't have to do too much work there. Maybe a little bit here in the back and on the hip, and also here in the arm. What we're doing here with the light and dark is we are working with the shading to create the contrast and the form. The name in the art world is chiaroscuro, from the Latin meaning light and dark. In order to get the light and dark, you have to imagine, since the light is coming from above, wherever things are bumping out, such as the top of her leg, then you're going to have a highlight. And where things are sort of going inwards, such as in the folds of the fabric, then you're going to have a shadow. And this play of light and dark is what creates the movement of the fabric and also the figure. So you can see that since I moved the leg, then I had to change the highlight here so that it is a little bit higher up in the drapery, and that helps us to feel that this is coming down and the leg is kind of receding backwards here. Here in the drapery itself, I want to have a bit of a highlight, and I want to have these very dark sections where it's folded in all the way. It doesn't feel good if it's too regular, so we have to change the flow of the movement, and that helps us to feel like it's more natural. I have a lot of hair on this figure, and I'd like to reduce that down a little bit. I don't know if I'm going to be able to erase on here. I've put fixative on the picture, so yeah, I'm going to have to use a little bit of white back there. Let's see if I can just lay this on a little bit. Yeah, that'll do. It's really supposed to be darker back behind here, but there could be more than one source of light, and it could also be that she has a little bit light up here on her forehead and in her hair. And then I think we could reduce a little bit on this side. We'll just give her a little bit less nostril over there. We could add a little bit of eyelash here. Don't get too crazy, but do you think she looks somewhat sad? Do you think she looks a little bit forlorn or perhaps pensive? Tell me what you think her expression feels like to you in the comments. I'd really like to know. I still have some work to do to resolve a lot of the things that I feel are not quite enough contrast yet, but I do appreciate the fact that there are many different shades of gray and highlight in this picture, and I particularly think that her face, arms and hands have gotten a lot more refined. So there'll probably be a part 3 for this one, and I hope that you'll stay tuned. Please do subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. Thank you.